So, not too long ago, I made a community post talking about a YouTuber by the name of Key who made this video in question. The video basically talks about how strong Goku, the protagonist of Dragon Ball, is in the manga. Now, if you don't know Key, he's basically just a YouTuber who is like very deep into power scaling. His whole channel revolves around finding out how strong someone is, how fast someone is, basically that. And if you can look by this, he basically has a lot of videos talking about Dragon Ball. The one I'll primarily be focusing on will be his most recent video. Let's look at his own words, shall we?
It's very well known that the Dragon Ball Super manga is much weaker than its anime counterpart, but by how much exactly? To find out where the Dragon Ball Super manga scales, we will find every feat and every statement that can be used to scale the characters or to find their power ceiling, and then rationalize how they all add up together.
Since Key has already explained what the video is going to be about and how he will find out how strong Goku is, we will now be focusing on his points, the points he make to prove this stance of his. And I will proceed to debunk them point by point.
Sark, we have the statement that Goku and Beerus' fight can put the entire universe in jeopardy. We will talk about this more later. Moving on to the Resurrection F movie, which is canon to the manga, we are told that Whis is not strong enough to make stars. Using the energy to mass conversion formula, we can find out that creating a star, the mass of our sun, would be in the mid-solar system level ranges, which is significantly above the baseline solar system level ranges, which is required to destroy the solar system, but also equally below the highest end of the tier.
Now, I have a few problem with this one. Now, for starters, the original text had Goku ask how did Whis bring the suns back? Can he make stars? To which Whis responded that no, he makes a do-over. Now, if he doesn't agree with the original Japanese text, mind you, his own scan, the very next line is Whis actually saying that he can perform a temporal do-over. If you don't know what that is, he is basically saying he can reverse time but in a fancy way. This conversation had a narrative purpose. The purpose was basically to inform the audience of the movie that Whis can time travel. So the audience didn't go like, oh, they are just making new technique for the angels for plot convenience. Also, angels like Whis aren't really allowed to break their angel codes and create celestial bodies because they desire. Of course, it's the job of the gods of creation known as the Kaioshin to create planets, stars, and all the celestial bodies in the universe. So, Whis creating them wouldn't really make sense. This can also explain why Whis doesn't just think he can create stars because it would violate his angelic code. And in cases like this, he just reverses time for that. Now that we have covered his V's point about V's being solar system level, let's go to the Zamasu point, shall we?
But moving on to the future Trunks arc, we do have Zamasu scene famous galaxy statement more.
Now, this one scan basically is just him trying to say that Goku is galaxy busting. But let me get this clear. The scan is more so Zamasu just talking about how he doesn't need this Earth or cosmos anymore. So he likely could also be referring to that, oh, I don't need this anymore. I'll first destroy you with this entire galaxy. The galaxy which, mind you, contains Trunks' Earth. The guy who broke universal laws, and Goku is using God Key, the power of the gods. So yeah, he probably wants to destroy that galaxy first. Doesn't mean he's limited to only destroying that one galaxy. So yeah, now that this argument is out the window, let's move on to the next argument and we'll mention the tournament of power.
Once again, a very featless arc, with the best feat being Kamui Goku shaking the arena. But
Now I can agree with this point, so let's move on.
the Moro arc has another galaxy statement, with Moro being said to be able to potentially blow away the entire galaxy if he detonates.
Considering Moro's explosion would have destroyed the Super Dragon Balls, it's safe to say that it would have been multi-galaxy at least.
However, we also do have anti-feats, such as the energy of Namek without any extra input from Moro being able to overpower God Vegeta.
This can right here completely debunks the argument. He basically was ignoring that even in the manga itself, we are told that Moro was stealing energy from them. They didn't realize it. Vegeta thought he could become blue, but he couldn't even become regular Super Saiyan. Goku couldn't teleport. That's how much they were drained. Before any of you say anything and try to use this can to debunk me and say that, oh, I am wrong, just know that Vegeta was bluffing here. He was basically just trying to find out what Moro wanted to wish for, and once he did do that, he decided to kill Moro by going Super Saiyan Blue and then dominate him in the fight. So, to conclude, he wasn't weak or anything, he was faking it.
There is also the fact that Moro wasn't strong enough at that point in time to physically devour Namek. In his prime, he is shown to be able to instantly do so, however, at that point in time, once again, he wasn't strong enough to instantly do it, and he was able to somewhat shrink Namek, but that's about it. The planet was still there, but the planet still existed. Even if you want to claim that Namek is an exponentially large planet, it's still much smaller than the universe and much smaller than the Milky Way, so it's still an anti-feat nonetheless. Moro also implies that Evolution Blue Vegeta's Big Bang attack is not on par with an actual Big Bang by mentioning how the name is too grandiose for an attack of such a low caliber.
I can agree with him on this, but not for the same reason exactly.
And the Granolah and superhero arcs are once again featless arcs, so there is nothing to note here.
So his final scaling is solar system V's but potentially galaxy busting Moro? And he even tries to justify Moro above V's.
Strong enough to make stars if Moro can destroy a whole galaxy. Whis scales above Moro, this is not consistent. While this may seem like a smart argument at first, it's actually very stupid. So let's start with the reasons why it's a stupid argument. Number one, just because Whis is physically stronger than Moro doesn't mean that he has to scale over every move that Moro has.
V's being stronger than Moro should mean he scales above him.
For instance, Yamcha scaled above the Cyberman, and yet he was one shot by its self-destruction.
Yamcha was not stronger than the Cyberman, he was equal to the Cyberman.
Second form Frieza scaled hundreds of times above Krillin, and yet Krillin's Destructo Disc could hurt him and cut Frieza.
Yeah, I'm not reading that. Just pause the video and read it.
This in itself does not contradict with a statement. It could be that Moro's self-destruction simply scaled massively above Moro's normal battle power. And number two, Whis states that Moro can possibly blow away the galaxy, not that he is surely at that level. So it could be that Whis was simply wrong.
What happened to galaxy busting Zamasu now?
Zamasu was a galaxy buster too. That's assuming that Zamasu was going to one-shot the galaxy, which is never stated to be his intent and thus cannot be used to contradict Whis directly saying that he doesn't have the power to make stars. Saying he would destroy the galaxy could be in reference to overtime destruction. Some people believe that Zamasu planned to blow away the galaxy with his punch in one shot, but that's clearly not the case as his punch caused no destruction. This means Zamasu had no intent to cause destruction in that instance, or else the sheer friction of the punch would have generated massive destruction once it's thrown.
Why mention science now? That's not even remotely connected to Dragon Ball Super scaling. Now let us cover Battle of Gods because he has covered it now.
To start off, people are quick to call the Battle of Gods arc statement universal and beyond, but that is very speculative. The statement does not inherently suggest total universal destruction, and I will explain why. Putting something in jeopardy is a term that only means putting something at a loss.
Now this is a common mistranslation here which a lot of people like to use, but aside from that, if you just Google search for the correct one, like look at the colored or uncolored version, just Google searching it, you will see that they say that the entire universe would be destroyed, not put it in jeopardy. And also, if we go by that logic, even if we calculate the feat like he did using science, we can say he was multi-galaxy at least.
If, say, Beerus and Goku destroyed the whole solar system, that would put the universe at a loss even if the feat they performed is only solar system level, since the universe is losing a solar system and a significant amount of its mortal population. There is no indication of one kind of destruction Elder Kai thinks that they would have caused, and in fact the shockwave that he reacted to didn't even destroy the Earth.
Multiple sources do confirm that this feat should at the very least be universal, if not multiversal.
So it's unlikely that he referred to total universal destruction of that shockwave. With later revelations, we also know that the universes operate on mortal levels, and there are only 28 planets with intelligent life on them. So it's also possible that Elder Kai was simply referring to the danger the universe will face from Zenu if the universe loses planets like Earth with high mortal levels.
This point seems very unlikely and already disproven in the manga.
Yet another possible interpretation is that they would have simply destroyed the life in the universe as opposed to destroying all celestial bodies, since the shockwaves can potentially harm the life that they come across. It's
Now he's just cherry picking to satisfy his own agenda.
no different how Boo destroying the life on certain planets was equated to him destroying planets. So God Goku being universal is nothing more than a very subjective interpretation that gets contradicted by several objective statements.
I think it's safe to say that we have disproven his solar system to galaxy bursting agenda here, and it's safe to say the whole video's point is done. Hope you enjoyed today's video. See you guys in the next one, and listen to Goku here. Now bye bye.